Good evening, boys and girls. This is episode 8. I should really, keep count of those. I'm pretty sure this is episode 8 of our Let's Play in Space Engineers Survival. Today we are going to be focused on exploration primarily. And I'm just starting my clock here so I don't run too long. Focus primarily on exploration. Um, Sounds like we're having some sound issues, but that's all right. Not a big deal. We've got the important ones. But yeah, we're going to be focused on some exploration. We're going to take our retrofitted rover out. We're going to continue to leave our battery just sitting there and see if we can find some other ores. In particular, we're looking for silver. That is our main priority. Silicon and gold. And I think that's it because we've got cobalt, iron, and nickel over at our initial point that we found. We've got magnesium where we are. And we've got gold, silver, and silicon still to find. So first we will put our battery on auto so that we can actually use it. If it's on recharge mode, then nothing will work once we separate. We will go ahead and turn this off, the connector off. We could just unlock it, but we want to turn it off so that we're not subject to its magnetism. And then we'll take the parking brake off. And then we'll zoom in a little bit, and then we'll head out. So we've got magnesium over here, and it's very frequent that you will find ore in groups of 3, I've noticed, both from watching videos and from my own playthroughs. So we're going to drive around here and see if we can find anything else near this magnesium. Because this entire area here has got the discoloration that indicates there's ore nearby. So we're going to see if there's anything else to this besides just the magnesium. Just by driving around. We could really do this on foot, or we could do this using our jetpack, but the range, actually, that reminds me, the range on our small grid ore detector is a little bit better than the one on our drill, but it's only all that much better if we turn it up. I mean, we'll turn the range on the antenna down because it doesn't need to be nearly that high for our purposes at this point. And it takes less power when it's turned down. Ooh, nickel. I've already got nickel. I mean, I guess we'll mark it anyway. We can still see the magnesium from here, so we'll include that in our marker. Ooh, and silicon. Look at that. Magnesium, nickel, and silicon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and replace that marker that I just made, because this one we can see all 3 from. Cool, so there's the silicon that we were looking for. Now, it would be really great if we could find some silver, because as nice as it is to find a legitimate silicon deposit, we can get silicon from stone if we really need it. Doesn't happen nearly as fast, but it does happen. Silver, on the other hand, does not come from stone, so we need to find an independent silver deposit. And since that's 3 from this big field that we're looking at here, it is quite unlikely that we're going to find anything else. Although it looks like we're outside the edge of it, so I will go ahead and turn back this direction a little bit. Oh look, there's ice. What a surprise. Yeah, there's ice everywhere. We are definitely in a tundra biome where ice is not a problem. And that's a good thing. Sometimes it is a problem to find ice, and that means you're going to have trouble refining it into hydrogen for fueling purposes. So this is all nickel. Wow, we got a lot of nickel here. That's nice. That's very cool. Magnesium. Of course, we knew that was there. And we're very far out, so it's hard to see what we're driving into. We need to be a little little bit careful here that we don't drive into our hole. So we do have gyros on this rover, we don't have any thrusters, so if we fall down a hole that we can't drive up the side of, we are stuck. It looks like it actually does go up this hill here. Let's see if there's anything different up this hill. Probably not, because like I said, I've tended to notice that they come in groups of 3, and we've got 3. I'll try to stick to the snow here, because that's probably a little bit rougher driving on the rock. It looks like this is all silicon. Again, that's fine. Silicon's good. We do need a legitimate silicon deposit. Just not as badly as we need a silver deposit. So we'll go down the other side here. Try not to go too fast. Go ahead and zoom back in here so I can see what I'm doing. I think I saw a discolored patch over in this word direction. Something else that might be worth adding is some legitimate lights to our rover. We're using our suit lights right now, which will work. They're not bad. It's better than nothing for sure, especially when it starts to get dark. But some real lights would be better. Yeah, I think there's some discoloration over there. A little bit of lag spike. And I don't think that's connected to this one. Because the one that we're building our base on is over to the right there. And I think that's discolored right in front of us. As far as I know, there are no actual rules about how the ores need to be distributed, so we're not necessarily going to find something we don't already have. I mean, there was a bunch of nickel at that one deposit, and there's also nickel at the cobalt deposit, so it's not like we have to find gold and silver here, but it's possible. It could happen. In at least one example, I've seen them occur nearby, so, you know, it's possible that there's a rule to the ore generation that they occur in tandem on the Earth-like planet at least, so we can hope for that. Ooh, silver. Perfect. Perfect. That is exactly what we needed. So I'll put the parking brake on. I'll mark the silver. Now, hopefully we can find some gold here, but again, we found the silver. That's the one that's really important. The gold can wait. We can get to space and we can do all kinds of cool stuff before we actually find gold. We will not be able to build a jump drive, though. We will not be able to build artificial gravity, because that takes components that require gold. Ooh, and there's gold. And it just popped off. There it is. Okay. We like to be able to get into a position where we can see both. We can see both. So we will remove our gold, or our silver mark, excuse me, and create a new one that is silver and gold. Awesome. So that's really what we were looking for. And just for fun here, we'll see if there's anything else in this deposit, just so that we can know about all of it. Obviously there's ice. We know there's ice. We don't need to mark ice. Ice is the big white patch that's all over the place. If we ever have trouble finding it, that'll help. See if there's anything different over here, though. Just because we know we've got gold and silver. If there's anything else over here worth knowing about, then we should know about it. Looks like there's a healthy amount of gold here. That's cool. Yeah, it looks like this is just a gold and silver. I say just. That does not in any way imply that I am unhappy about it, because this is basically all of our resources. This is everything that we will need to get us up and running. Everything that there is to find, really. I mean, there's no uranium on the planets. Or at least no uranium on the Earth-like planet. I don't know if there's uranium on other planets. I don't recall what has been said about that. Although apparently you can get uranium from meteors. I've never actually done that, so I don't know how that works. I don't even see these alleged meteors from this storm that's supposedly coming in. Meteors. I think I just saw one land over there. I'm not perfectly sure where, though. That was a ways off for it to be warning us about an inbound meteor storm. But whatever, let's drive over there and see if we can find the crater and check it out. And that's just what I've seen it happen once. I don't remember if the video that I was watching where the guy found uranium in a crater was actually a modded series or not. And we are playing pure vanilla here. So if his was modded, it's possible that he got uranium and we won't. It is also presumably possible that we won't get uranium even if he didn't get it because of a mod. Looks like there's another ore patch over here anyway, so that's worth checking out. We've already got everything we need, so this will just be extra. But since we saw a meteor land over in this direction, it might be worth finding that crater anyway. And since this is here, what do we have? Iron. Iron's nice. Iron is one of our more critical resources. Go ahead and mark it. I expect that we will find something else, so we'll end up removing it again later. But for now, parking brake. If we can see the iron and whatever else there is from another location, then we'll mark that location instead. What am I driving over here? This might just be an ice deposit. Because while yes, it's true that there is ice everywhere, there are also ice deposits underground sometimes. There are also ice lakes. Ice lakes are good to set stuff up on, set up a permanent build on. Ooh, that was cobalt back there. I don't see the crater. So we will remove this one because we can see iron and cobalt from our current position. Got plenty of battery charge here, so we got time to continue looking around. I still am not seeing that crater. It's possible it was further. I don't really remember where it landed at this point exactly. Kind of hard to do depth perception in a game that, 3D as it may be, it is still actually 2D. Looks like this is iron, ice, and cobalt. That's going to be my guess as to what this deposit actually is in total. That's a bush. It's not a crater. That is also a bush. Alright, you know what? We found enough stuff. We're going to go ahead and head back. I'm pretty sure there are some craters that are closer to the base anyway. We got what we needed. We still got plenty of time left for the episode, so what are we going to do next? That's a good question. I will think about that while I drive. Well, first I'm going to look around and see what we can find in those craters. Because I know there are some nearby here. I saw them while I was working on welding up conveyor tubes. And although that meteor storm was well away from the base that we just saw, we have had a couple of closer calls. They still weren't very close, but they were closer. I can drive faster, but I tend not to, just because rovers are a little bit dangerous to flip over, and once you flip them over, they're very difficult to get back right side up without damaging things. The fact that we have two gyros on here will make it easier to actually get it right side up, but we're also very likely to damage our antenna that is sticking out a little bit over the top of the rest of everything. So we'll park up the rover, we'll walk around a little bit and see if we can't find ourselves a crater to look at. Not the one that we made, obviously, with the drill. That one's not helpful. There's no fancy ore in that one. Turn our connector back on. Get ourselves lined up here. If I can remember how to drive backwards. Well, that's not straight. It might not be a bad idea to build an actual platform here. We could change its color to help us line up a little bit. And we would know that we're backing up on flat terrain when we actually do go into park this thing. Don't crash. Lagging is okay, just don't crash. Okay. Yeah, we're still too far over. There we go. And locked. And recharge. Probably actually should have just gone ahead and drilled up some silver, but we don't actually have a full-blown refinery. We've just got a basic refinery, and the basic refinery can't handle silver. So we wouldn't have actually gotten anything out of that anyway. Now, where are these craters? I know there's some nearby here. I think that's one over there. Is that uranium? Silicon. Yeah, silicon. So we got a little bit extra silicon out of that exercise, but that was not a uranium meteor apparently. See if we can see another one. Looks like another one over here. Now I don't know if the meteors that come down in a single storm are all the same. If they are, then obviously we're just going to get silicon out of this one too. This looks like iron though. Yeah, that's iron. This looks the wrong color to be iron though. Anything actually coming off of this? Going off this way? Nope. We're just grinding off spare voxels here. We're not actually getting anything. Ooh, look, some ice. Alright, so we got nothing out of that. That was a little high. That's all right. This looks like nickel. Ooh, silver. Not very much silver, but silver. I'm pretty sure that's not even enough silver to do anything with when we actually refine it. Yeah, 36. That's not anything. And it takes very little uranium to make a difference, but it takes a little bit more silver to do anything worthwhile. Alright, that's enough of that. Point is, you can get cool stuff from the meteors. They do drop more than just destruction. You will occasionally get a useful mineral out of it. Yeah, those are just bushes. There's no minerals in bushes. I mean, chemically speaking, there is, but not in this context. That's just ice and shadows from ice. Alright, we'll go ahead and dump this in the large cargo container. What can be refined will be refined. We got a whole bunch of extra parts in here too. Ice will get sucked out. The magnesium, the silicon, and the iron will eventually get sucked out. The magnesium is we actually drilled up. But it's the refinery we've got is in the middle of processing cobalt still. Lots of cobalt to refine. You know what? We can go through this pretty quick. Let's just go ahead and move this in here, because it will go quick relative to all the cobalt we have. We have about 10,000 kilograms of cobalt ore still. That'll go real quick by comparison. Then we'll just be done with it, and it won't be taking up any more space. See that, for as little iron as we had, we still ended up with a decent amount of ingots. Ore is much more efficient than stone. And we can go ahead and put this stuff away. So I think the next thing that we realistically want to do is replace these conveyor tubes with pistons so that we can control where this is. We know that the magnesium's down there. We know that the magnesium spreads out pretty far. And the fact that we can get to it here really is good enough. We've got plenty of magnesium for the time being. We've got a whole patch deposit here. Like, we've got plenty of magnesium. I'm not worried about, oh my god, are we going to have enough magnesium? So yeah, I think I'm going to replace some of these with pistons. I mean, there's really no reason not to replace all of them with pistons. We need the corner ones, obviously, to turn the corner, but other than that, they can all be pistons. So there's a piston, we'll take up that full length. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 35 meters. We could just build 7 pistons. There is a risk to doing that because Clang might get angry. Pistons are, subgrids once you get past the first one, and our first one's over there. So there is a risk that we'll anger the physics engine. There's also the issue that this is going to be a lot of cargo space to actually pull this apart, particularly the drills. The drills are going to take up, more cargo space than I have, but we're close enough here that we can just run back and drop it off. And if we do it in the right order, right order does not mean falling down the hole. If we do it in the right order, we can actually put the parts for the side drills in the middle drill. So yeah, we're going to pull this apart. And put all the bits into the small cargo container. That's something I might actually do between episodes, since I told you I wouldn't write code on camera, is set up an inventory management system, an inventory management script. As I said in my previous video, there are lots of inventory management scripts on the workshop. Izzy's is one I know is especially popular. but I tend to like to merge my scripts together and let them, one script basically be a station management script. So, and I do kind of enjoy the process of writing my own and, understanding how things work and what exactly it is that I'm doing to make it work. So I will probably write my own. And I will do a code review, but I won't write it on camera because that will get boring fast. Alright, now we're not going to have room to completely disassemble this one. We'll have to actually run back to the base proper and offload. But it's not far. We can do that. Still got plenty of room in our small cargo container since we're just putting components in here. Now, our large cargo container has enough stuff in it that it would fill 2 of these. But since we're just doing components in the small, we got plenty of room. By the way, in the exploding drill episode, I realized that this was not going to work with a small rotor head. Oop. That's not good. Apparently I was grinding the rotor and not the head. Not too far into that. So the rotor fell off, or the rotor head fell off and was pushing me down. That's alright, I lived. Oh, I didn't realize we could access it like that. I thought this was just a conveyor, not a cargo port. Because you can't access the conveyors. Like if you have a conveyor junction and it's got one of these things on it, you can't actually open it up. But apparently that is not the case with the piston heads. They are actually cargo access points. Good to know. Very convenient. I said I was going to leave this corner, and I am going to rebuild it, but for the same reason we had to take everything else apart, we have to take this apart too for the time being, because we're about to break this whole thing down. And it will be exceedingly difficult, if not impossible, to reconnect the grids afterwards. And when it comes right down to it, nope, ran out of space. When it comes right down to it, I think I'm going to take this piston off too and remove that conveyor tube and replace it with, move the piston down basically, just because it'll look a little bit neater. A little less cobbled together. Although let's face it, it is cobbled together. Go pick up our parts. I don't think anything went down the hole, but I'm going to double check just because I don't want to lose any bits. No. Wait. No. Thought I saw something. Just a shadow. Doing fine on hydrogen. Ran out of space again. I should pay closer attention to that. It's probably the motors, really. The motors take up a lot of room. Now, a lot of these parts will end up not being reused, and we will need some different parts because we're replacing these with pistons, remember. We're not just moving something, we're changing parts out. But they will find a purpose. Worst case scenario, the assemblers can actually disassemble things as well. You know, I said I was going to move this piston down, so I got to take this apart too. But I have access to the cargo network through the piston. Today I learned. Interesting. Oh, you can. About to say, it looks like you can't actually drill down the piston unless you go down to the base of it, but you can. Because that was extended, remember? Now we will just quickly make sure that we didn't damage our cargo container here. I don't think we did. No, we didn't. And then we will get pistons out. And we will place it here directly on the cargo container. Alright, so now if I don't put a conveyor tube on top of here, we're going to end up slightly lower by 1 block than we were initially. But since we have a hole there already, no, because we're moving. The whole point of this exercise is to move back, so I don't want to just let that go. Instead, I'm actually going to put 2 here before I put the curve back in, because I want to be able to fit the drills on the ground, or I want to fit the drills into this mechanism without needing to words. I want to be able to fit the drills in with the piston extended without drilling out the ground a little bit like we had to when we initially placed the drills on that second piston. So now we will go. Oop, need steel plates. We have no steel plates. We put them all in here. So we're just going to go ahead and grab, well, we're going to put all this other stuff back for now. We're going to refill our hydrogen tank. And we're going to grab, why did that not? We're going to grab 100 steel plates. Apparently shift click doesn't want to work for me. And control click doesn't work either. I guess we're accessing through a subgrid. I don't know. I'm not sure why. It's annoying, I know that. Alright, so now we've got plenty of steel plates. We've got plenty of interior plates to do the remaining conveyors that we have to do. We can finish this now. So I said that we needed 7, but that also included 1 extra conveyor tube on the end there. So we don't actually need 7 because that's to get us back to where we were, and there's no point in drilling where we were. But I do actually want to be able to go a little bit further so we can get the magnesium if we want to. So I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and build 8 here. So that'll be able to put us 1 block further. And that also, well, that doesn't account for them extending it all if I do 7. I said it was 35 meters. So really, that'll be able to get us to the same spot. And I did mention that clang was a concern. So I think I'm just going to do 4. That's a nice even number. So those are 10 meters and then 10 meters. So that's 20 meters plus 40 meters when they're all extended by 10 meters each. So that'll get us out 60 meters from where we were. So that's a little bit less than double how far we were able to get out before. So I think that's good enough. So then we want to put our curved conveyor on. And then we are actually going to need to extend this piston now before we build any more, because we have to put 2 pistons and drills on the bottom here, and they don't fit unless this is extended. So we'll reverse that and rename it while we're at it. So now we want to put 2 pistons on the bottom here. And then we can clear all that off. We can clear all this off too. Then we need an advanced rotor. Oh, I think I started to tell the story and then I stopped telling it. Splitsy's video for the using the small grid drills, he did have a conveyor junction, a small grid conveyor junction on his small grid rotor head, and then just pulled it around using small grid conveyors to attach the drills. I am still going to use the large grid drills though. I've already cooked up the parts. We've got plenty of resources, and they have cargo space of their own, kind of as a fail-safe to make sure that we don't run out of room here as quickly as we might otherwise. So I'm still going to use the large grid drills, but I did confirm that you don't have to use the large grid drills. You can use small grid and it'll work. And you can see we've got plenty of room here now because we went up 2 conveyor tubes instead of just 1. But that's all assembled now, at least. Honestly, I might even consider putting a rotor at the top there instead of this, but I already built it. That's annoying. We're running out of time for this episode, so I'm going to put an advanced rotor up at the top of that piston there just so that we can actually rotate this around too, and that'll give us a lot more range of motion as far as where we can drill. We're going to have a big hole here. It's going to be basically a semicircle pit surrounding our base. A little bit of a moat even. We could build a moat. We don't have quite enough room to clear the wind turbines. Maybe I should build another piston so we can do that. I might do that. Alright, so yeah, the plan is I'm going to put another piston on here and a rotor so that we can basically have enough clearance to bring the drills over the top of the turbines, whatever you want to call them, turbines, and go all the way around here because I think that this will extend far enough that we can go all the way around, and that'll be cool. So we can basically build ourselves a little moat. But I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to get it all welded up. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do, just so that, you're not surprised when the next episode starts. I'm not going to make you watch me tear this back down and then build it back up with 2 extra parts at the beginning. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see the next episode. Likes and comments are appreciated. I'll see you next time.